Hari Om to everyone else. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. So we saw that Mahavakya, which are analysis of the great sentence said by the Veda. Tat Tvam Asi. So in last two classes, we understood Tvampada Lakshyartha, the implied meaning of you. Today we will see the meaning of that, Tat. Having known that the individual is nothing but the Atma, the next step is to know what that is. It has been decided that Tat is not Ishvara. The implied meaning or Lakshyartha should be searched. So the sloka is Evam sarvagnatwadi vishishta ishvaraha Evam sarvagnatwadi vishishta ishvaraha Tatpadavachyarthaha Tatpadavachyarthaha Upadhishunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tatpadalakshyarthaha Upadhishunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tatpadalakshyarthaha Evancha Jiveshwarayoho Evancha Jiveshwarayoho Chaitanya Rupena Abhede Badhaka Bhavaha Chaitanya Rupena Abhede Badhaka Bhavaha. So, Evam thus cha and Vedanta Vakyaihi, by the words of Vedanta, Sadguru Upadeshena, by the teaching of Sadguru, cha, Sarveshu api, in all bhuteshu beings. Yesterday we discussed about it. So, we understood that. So, Mahavakya is nothing but the mantra. When the disciple listen to that mantra, listen to that Mahavakya from the teacher, he understands that by Tvam or you, his true self, the Atma, is meant. He rejects the meaning of Ishvara from Tat or that. So what remains is Brahman. It cannot be anything lower. Thus he understands that Brahman is Atman. Means, what about the universe, the essence of that? And what about that individual self or Atma? The essentially they are one only. The same reality is there in him and in the cosmos. The division, the bifurcation, the duality are all myth. When the disciple understands that he is infinite, he merges into samadhi, that is the culmination of his sadhana. Yesterday I discussed about samadhi, samyak adhayate iti samadhi. So now the question is, can a mere statement of the Vedas do so much? Of course, words carry power. Ordinary words have ordinary power, but some words are so powerful that they can destroy our illusion and ignorance. Think about just in modern age, Swami Vivekananda in Chicago, there was no microphone and at least 7,000 people were there. And how his power of words acted upon all of them. Think about our Gurudev. I have heard from the witness that in Shivaji Park, 40,000 people used to come when he used to deliver his lecture on Bhagavad Gita. And how powerful his words were. That recording we are having in YouTube, Chinmay Mission. They should, however, be uttered by powerful souls. See, today, a lot of television channels, millions of YouTube channels and talks are available. Yet, we are surprised that the society is degrading. Because the contents are same, but who are the speaker of this content? They are not imbibed with the teachings. They are not well versed in the teachings. They don't practice what they teach. That is why those words have no power. Taking the classes is not a big deal. Once Swami Ranganathanandaji was asked that how can I understand that I am growing spiritually? And he answered that, can you feel the immense happiness and bliss inside? Can you radiate it to others around surrounding you? That is the sign of spiritual growth. So, first thing is powerful souls are needed who are imbibed with the parampara sadhana, who went to his guru and did the practices what guru prescribed for him. After a long struggle, when the knowledge blooms in his heart, that individual's word become powerful. They should, however, be uttered by powerful souls. In Upadesha Sahasri, 18th chapter, 172 number sloka, it is said, just as the sentence, you are the 10th person, produces such knowledge, the sentence, you are that, produces instant effect. Dasamaha asti. In Upanishad, there is a very nice story of 10th man. You know, some students in Gurukul, in ashram, in hermitage, it is a confined place. Students are restricted to go anywhere else. Even our Sandipani Sadhanalaya is in the core of the city, but the students are not allowed to go anywhere else apart from the ashram in 2 years. So much restriction in Gurukul. So once in Upanishadic time, there was some festival or something else, and students was very eager to go over there, and they went to their guru to ask the permission. Guru was not ready to give the permission because Guru was very much confirmed about their super intelligence. So Guru told, okay, 10 students will go. They are the senior most. And count yourself. And Guru counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? You 10 should come to the ashram within this time. They told, yes, Acharya. Then there was a river they had to cross, and the river was very turbulent. So they hold one each other. When they crossed the river, the leader of the 10 students started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh my God, where is the 10th person? And they started crying and crying and crying. And each of the students started counting, and the counting is 9. Where is the one who are missing? How they will answer to their guru, because they promised that they 10 students will come together. One person, very knowledgeable, just passing through. And he saw that the 10 boys were crying. And that person went to them and asked, what is your problem, my child? They exclaimed everything else. Then that knowledgeable person understood their intelligence and started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. You are the 10th person, 10th one. Oh, Dasamahamasmi. So, did that knowledgeable person bring the 10th one? No, it was there. Verily there. But they did not count themselves. So the thing is, the sentence you are that produces instant effect. keeping before you the national ideal of renunciation, which comes of devotion to the Lord, you have to work fearlessly with the strength of a lion, hills of the fruits of action, and without caring for criticism. Let Mahavir Hanuman be your ideal. See how with unbounded faith in the name of Rama, he, the prince of self-controlled ones, wise and sagacious, crossed the ocean in one bound, defying death. You have to mold your lives after that high ideal, thinking yourselves the servants of the Lord. Then only that realization will come. I am the 10th man. Then only you will include yourself in the equation in Tattvamasi, the essential nature. Where will you go to seek Brahman? He is immanent in all beings. Here is visible Brahman. Shame on those who disagreeing or disregarding the visible Brahman set their minds on other things. Here is the Brahman before you, as tangible as a fruit in your hand. Can't you see? Here is the Brahman. The Vedas have the inherent power because they are words of realized masters. And the Veda is Brahman itself. Veda is knowledge itself. And Brahman is knowledge itself. Ordinary words and mantras are different in this sense. The mantras have inherent potencies which act upon the soul from within and destroy the ignorance. There are certain sacred words called mantras which have power when repeated under proper conditions to produce these extraordinary powers. We are living in the midst of such a mass of miracles day and night that we do not think anything of them. There is no limit to man's power. The power of words and the power of mind. What are these mantras? The whole of this universe has, according to Indian philosophy, both name and form, the nama rupa, as its conditions of manifestation. In the human microcosm, there cannot be a single wave in the mind stuff called chitta vritti, unconditioned by name and form. If it be true that nature is built throughout on the same plan, this kind of conditioning by name and form must also be the plan of the building of the whole of the cosmos. As one lump of clay being unknown, all things of clay are known. So the knowledge of the microcosm must lead to the knowledge of the macrocosm. This is the power of Vedanta. So if we recapitulate, okay, before recapitulation, I will tell something else more regarding this. Okay. No, it will be too much. It will be too much. It will be too much. So if I recapitulate, the aspirant ready for spiritual instruction arrives at the doors of the teachers. The teacher tells him about the truth and the superimposition. The disciple learns that his own body and mind included, everything is fleeting and Brahman alone is the reality. The Guru then gives him the Mahavakya. The fit aspirant merges into Samadhi instantly. Then what happens after having this knowledge? That is the beauty. And that state is called Jivan Mukti. The liberated in life. Jivan Mukti is liberation in life. There is an apparent contradiction in terms here. Life means bondage and mukti means liberation. So how can contradictions coexist? How can there be bondage and liberation at the same time? The concept of Jivan Mukti is not a creation of Advaitins. Okay. It was there in the Vedas. There are many mantras in the Upanishads which speaks of liberation in life. Like Chandogya Upanishad 7.25.2 says, Atmaratihi Atmakridaha. He delights in his own self, sports in his own self. The Kathopanishad 2.1.15 says that just as pure water poured into pure water becomes non-different, so does the self of the person of knowledge. What is the mantra? Yathodakam shuddhe shuddhamasiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam munirvijanata atma bhavati gautama. That is the mantra of Kathopanishad. Then another place we see avibhagena drishtatvat. The liberated soul is inseparable from Brahman, says Brahma Sutra 4.4.4. Further, Brahma Sutra 4.4.9 says that the liberated soul is free from all injunctions. He can no one to rule over him. Atayeva cha ananya adhipatihi. The Brahma Sutra 3.4.50 declares that a Jivan Mukta lives like a child. anavishkurvan ananvayat. Without pomp, the enlightened should live like a child. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.5.1, it is said that persons of knowledge after enlightenment live in the world without attachment for anything, having overcome all sorrow and suffering, and take a mendicancy or mendicancy. The knowers of Brahman live like children. The oft quoted mantra is Tasya Tavadeva Chiram. Chandogya Upanishad 6.14.2. Advaitins only developed this idea. But they also are divided in this. While some says Jivan Mukti is possible, others said that it is not possible. Bhagavan Sri Shankaracharya ji writes in several places that Jivan Mukti is possible. In his commentary to Bhagavad Gita, verse 2nd chapter 51 sloka, he writes that while living in the body, the person of knowledge will attain liberation. Of the other schools of thought, like the Nyaya, Shankhya, and others, accept liberation in life. But among the chief opponents of Jivan Mukti, Ramanujacharya ji is one. He says, or he asks, how can somebody still living in the body be called liberated? But the reality is, the concept of Jivan Mukti is true and real. If by the grace of God a man but once realizes that he is not the doer, then he at once become a Jivan Mukta. Though living in this body, he is liberated. See the life of our Gurudev. He performed a lot of things, but never claimed that he is the doer. His 2 years itinerary was filled with work when he was verily sick in his body. He never cared for that. That is the Lakshana of Jivan Mukti. He has nothing else to fear. Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful example of the Jivan Mukta. He told, suppose an office clerk without any reason or with any reason has been sent to jail. He undoubtedly leads a prisoner's life there. But when he is released from jail, does he cut carpets in the street or capers in the street? Not at all. He starts finding to get a job as a clerk again and goes on working as before. Even after attaining knowledge through the Guru's grace, teacher's grace, one can very well live in this world as a Jivan Mukta. Now the question is, what is the method of attaining knowledge? Elsewhere, I have mentioned that all knowledge, whether external or internal, is had in the form of mental modification called vritti. Every knowledge comes in the form of a vritti. Even the knowledge of Brahman or Brahma Jnanam also comes in the form of vritti according to Vedanta. Such a vritti or mental modification has been called Brahmakara vritti. The literal translation is the modification of mind in the form of Brahman, but it is not. This is the ultimate vritti that rises in the mind before the mind merges into samadhi. Now question, can one attain Brahma Jnana or knowledge of Brahman? No, one cannot. Please understand that, because we have the old dharana, उनका ब्रह्म ज्ञान हुआ है, मुझे कब ब्रह्म ज्ञान होगा? When I will attain the knowledge of Brahman? One cannot have the knowledge of Brahman. If knowledge of the Atman or Brahman is attained by effort or other means, it will go. That which comes, so it goes. That which is born will surely die. So Brahman, the Brahman knowledge or Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of Brahman should also come to an end someday. But once a person becomes enlightened, there is no more ignorance for him. He is forever enlightened. So Brahman knowledge or Brahma Jnana is neither born nor acquired. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman itself Brahman alone. Here Bhavati doesn't mean becomes Brahman. There is no becoming. There is only being. It is always there. According to Vedanta, we have only forgotten this knowledge. It has been enveloped by ignorance. So what is the role of Brahmakara vritti? That Brahmakara vritti destroys ignorance and leaves. Knowledge shines of itself. Knowledge shines of itself. What is the process of awakening? The Guru tests the disciples' intensity of devotion to truth initially. The seeker should pant for liberation. Then alone can teachings bear fruit. The disciple succeeds in all tests. The teacher then tells his disciple about adhyaropa or deliberate superimposition. He tells the disciple how Maya has superimposed herself on Brahman, as it were, and so the truth has come to him in disciples' form, lamenting that it is ignorant. The teacher next discusses apavada or desuperimposition. Yes, Brahman has been enveloped by avidya or ignorance, but how to overcome it? There are methods. One is meditation on the reality, assuming it to be like a fish in the vast ocean or a bird in the sky. Such meditations are suggested because while a devotee can concentrate on beautiful forms of God, the seeker of knowledge has no such symbols of truth. These then are his symbols. Apart from meditation, the disciple is told to inquire into the truth. This is called vichar, analysis, discrimination and analysis. That who am I? Who am I is the standard questions for Advaitin students. The other method is giving the great upadesha or advice. Giving the Mahavakya of the 4 great sentences. The teacher may give anyone to the disciple. The disciple could either be enlightened instantly or later. The moment the disciple listens to the Guru, there awakens in his heart the idea that he is not the limited, sorrowing and suffering body or mind. He is the eternal, pure, ever-free self or Brahman itself. This is not mere conviction. It is a positive vritti that awakens in the mind. This is not indirect knowledge like the ones we have from books. Books tell us we are Brahman. We read them time and again, yet nothing happens. But in the case of such a vritti, there is the awakening of direct knowledge or perception or aparoksha jnanam. This vritti will make Brahman as its subject. It destroys the ignorance that envelops it. Thus, there is the flash of knowledge. This is the explanation of Vedanta. The Vedantins give this example when the threads in a piece of cloth are burnt, the cloth too is burnt. The cloth is also burnt. So also when ignorance is destroyed, all the effects of ignorance, mind, intelligent or intellect, etc., everything also are destroyed automatically. The vritti also is destroyed. What remains, remains. This is the culmination of Vedanta. The direction of the mind which always runs up the senses has to be turned within. The mind has to be killed. The body is but cross. It dies and dissolves into the 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. But the bundles of mental impressions, vasanas, which is the mind, does not die soon. It remains for some time in seed form and then sprouts and grows in the form of a tree. It takes on another physical body and goes the round of birth and death until self-knowledge arrives. Therefore, by meditation and concentration and by power of philosophical discrimination, plunge this mind in the ocean of existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, or in one word, Satchidananda. When the mind dies, all limiting adjuncts vanish and you are established in Brahman. What happens next? Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti. Tomorrow we will discuss more on it. Today, this class is enough for today. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Thank you. Did you enjoy the class?
Yes.
Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Hari Om. Hari Om.